Peace, everyone. You're invited to the Wellness Cypher. Who am I? My name is Atiya J, and I'm a certified life coach and certified healing circle facilitator. And my experience has helped me to come up with the idea of the Wellness Cypher. So I will be co-facilitating with my sister Brianna X, aka the Brave Producer. Follow her. And we are going to bring Black people together, men and women. We're bringing us together so that we can heal. It is my belief that all of us face challenges because life ordained it. However, all of those different challenges are usually the same set of problems. So if we tackle those problems together, we are building community and we're going to heal and we're going to grow a lot faster. Because if I bounce ideas off of you and you bounce something back to me, then we're working together, we're trusting each other, and we're also growing and we get new ideas. So it's not only a burden on us, but we reach out and spread that burden through our community. So I invite you all to the Wellness Cypher. It's on Clubhouse and it's on Zoom. Check out the flyer and I'll see you there. Peace. Peace. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome, family, to Tea Time Podcast by Atiya J. This is your self-help, spiritual podcast, uplifting topics we all love to avoid, but we definitely need to conquer. Tea time is your moment to pause, listen, and absorb what is soothing to you. I'm Atiya J, aka Tia, a certified holistic life coach, and this idea was sparked by my passion to help others discover their latent potential, purpose, and significance, especially if you are one who feels overlooked, alone, or forgotten. You are not alone. You are not forgotten. I see you and I feel you. Welcome to Tea Time Podcast. Enjoy the tea. Peace. Assalamu alaikum. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Tea Time Podcast. I have another wonderful guest, my brother Einstein from Rutgers University. We met. Introduce yourself.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Einstein. I am a Rutgers alumnus, just like Atiya. We met at Rutgers. I'm just, living my best life, trying to just make sense of the world. I got a lot of strong opinions. I believe, in just doing the right thing no matter what the cost is. So I'm excited to talk about cancel culture. I'm excited to be here, and let's get into it.
Bet. Cancel culture, from the topic from you, is a good one because I feel like you're someone who always spoke his mind. You always spoke up and said what you wanted to say, whether it was appropriate or not. So you have a history with cancel culture. So I think this is a perfect topic. So just to preface, for my audience who may not know, cancel culture in colloquial terms can be the idea that when you do not like something or something is not politically correct, you're going to cancel it. I'm not sure specifically in action what that means. I think it just means you put #canceled, because that doesn't always mean that you boycott it. That doesn't always mean that you unfollow it. That just kind of means that in your mind and as a culture and society, we know that we don't like Trump. He's canceled. Even though he's still reality, even though he's still alive. I'm giving my opinion on cancel culture, but I'll let you weigh in.
That's actually a perfect analogy, Atiya. So, for example, Trump didn't get impeached. He was found not guilty, right? And there were people who actively wanted this man not even canceled, but out of their lives permanently, right? Thanks. And I've never seen such vitriol. I just never seen such vitriol towards a president ever. Even Obama, in certain aspects, he didn't get that much vitriol.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's almost like a hive mind, it's like a virus. I can't even explain it. It's like when you retweet something on Twitter, right? I'm sorry, by the way, I talk with my hands like a true Caribbean.
Oh, you good.
You see something on Twitter and you retweet it, and then that catches fire, and then other people retweet, and then someone takes that as fact. That's a big problem with cancel culture. The Joe Rogan situation is another thing.
Yeah.
This man was making podcasts on YouTube for 14 years.
Yep.
That you could have gone back at any point in time when he was blowing up to take this man out. After he has a virologist, Dr. Robert Malone, who questioned Dr. Fauci, and that's another topic we can get into, about the Rona. Okay. Now all of a sudden they're bringing up things he said out of context. Did he make a joke about Black people? Not really. If you've seen the 5-minute clip, they took 30 seconds, and this is what people like to do. They take 30 seconds of something and they say, this is what this person is. So you're 25, 26, they boil your life and who you are as a person in a 30-second clip. And because I have the attention span of a fruit fly nowadays, someone's going to take that and assume that as fact. That's why I've always said, critical thinking has died with our parents' generation. Not saying that we're idiots or anything, but I look at the Ketanji Brown Jackson appointment. You can't tell me what a woman is. It's not about context. That wasn't about context. I sat there and saw the whole 4-hour thing in my job. You have an obligation to be honest, or you perjure yourself. Did we all not take civics classes in high school? Like, I'm a little lost here.
Yeah.
Look at cancel culture has this bullet to get rid of people we don't like. We're no different than back in the day when the Cold War occurred. They used to take Black people that they didn't like and call them communists. That would ruin their job prospects. That'd ruin their opportunities to get employment, ruin their opportunities to find love, because you didn't want to be seen. It was like a scarlet letter. You're a commie, I can't be seen with you.
Yeah.
And sometimes it wasn't even true. We find out years later, Harry Belafonte wasn't even a communist, but they blackballed that man. Paul Robeson, they blackballed the hell out of that guy.
Yep.
Because they associated freedom, right, with being a communist. You don't love America. You're not a patriot. When in actuality, these people are just as patriotic as some guy you'll find chucking corn in the middle of Nebraska.
You know, I'm glad you brought it back to that idea of you're a commie, I can't deal with you. Or if to put it in layman's terms, you're a nigger, you don't belong here. Cancel culture comes from white supremacy. I'll just say that. I don't like it. Number one, to me, is the social media thing people created, and it's a complaint. If you put action behind it, we don't like them, so we're going to boycott them. Cool. I don't like Trump. If we're canceling him, that means we're going to do something that's actually going to get him impeached. We're going to do something that's actually going to help us to politically grow and create political power, rather than electing a Biden, which is just a cute Trump. But is a cute Trump. I'd say it that way. The president has always been just a figurehead for what America is doing, is always going to do it, and continues to do, which is to subjugate, especially Black people, but to subjugate people of color, poor people in this country and across the world in order to build up their money and build up their power, etc., while creating all these wars and building up what their debts that they owe to people. But I'm glad you brought it back to the history of you're a commie, because that's white supremacy. That's what white people use, so that when people like Harry Belafonte, Paul Robeson, these people that they did not like came into power and they started shifting the culture, once those people shifted it, they had to put this bad word over them, demonize them, make them look a certain way, so that then the people are going to look at them and say, oh, no, let me not associate myself with that person because I need my job. Let me not associate myself with that person because I don't, I'm already a nigga. I got to keep my head down, And we've brought that little bit of white supremacy because they use the same tricks. White people are not that clever. They use the same tricks all the time. And we just catch on kind of. We're very trusting. Our people, Black people, we're very trusting. We want to love. We want to, we like to put people at a wonderful regard because that's how we are. But we haven't noticed our open enemy, white people, white supremacy. We haven't seen their tricks because we like to put it under the rug, or we don't want to look at that. We just want to love. But they use the same tricks. And cancel culture is exactly that. It's a piece of white supremacy. and we've taken it and tried to make it, and not even we didn't do it. We've allowed it to intertwine itself into Black culture, and that's a problem.
And it's funny we talk about cancel culture because I think about BLM, right? In theory, BLM is supposed to be great. You know, I was with it. I had the BLM shirt. I was with it. But then, you know, I forgot who I ran into. This was at the 25th anniversary of the Million Man March, right?
Okay.
I forgot. I ran into an older brother. He said, if everyone's doing something all at once and not questioning it, then it's your job to question it. So I sat down and I used to donate money to these people, you know, hundreds of dollars, you know, and obviously I'm a broke politician, so I'm thinking it's going to go to something. And now you look years later, that money's being spent on a $70 million home in the Valley in California. You look at these people have mansions all over the world. Yet Black people's conditions have not changed.
Nope.
And a guy like Shaun King, who some people don't even think he's Black, he's just a white guy who just looked into the movement and started talking. He embezzled hundreds of millions of dollars from Atlanta area churches. That man should be in jail. But because, like you said, we are trusting, they let him go.
I don't know about that. I saw, because I follow him, so I don't know what the opposite side was. Like, I guess I don't follow the opposite side, but I saw him kind of defending himself at one point. What was going on with that Shaun King situation?
So he was actually a preacher, right? And people, you know, he had a church. And I actually found this out from a girl that I dated who actually went to one of his churches. And he had told them, and they would donate money to him, and they thought they were going to get a community center. Mind you, these are hundreds of thousands of dollars that the community is trusting you with to do the right thing. And they started finding out he was buying cars, he was doing this, he was taking trips, essentially doing the exact opposite of what the money was supposed to be for the people. This is why, and she told me that's why I don't look, every time he comes on the TV or says something, I got to block him because you're a fraud. But it just, because she had that experience. Not everyone else has had that experience. Yeah. We could talk about Tamika Mallory and the lawsuit that's against her from Tamir Rice's mom.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about that. So you got these crooks, and that's what we're going to be honest with ourselves. You're I don't know if I'm allowed to curse, but you're a fucking crook.
Yeah.
You're a thief, and you're no good. And the fact that BLM could have been something great, that could have been our generation's Black Panthers. You know, that's what makes me so
that's what
mad.
I thought it was.
Yeah, that's what makes me so mad, because I can't sit here and put a hashtag BLM and then go out and then try to get rid of, like, Darren Seals. Darren Seals was the first guy in the middle of Ferguson to say BLM's a fraud. You mean to tell me the day after he says that, he's found in his car, shot 3 times in the back of his head with his car on fire, and the cops call it a suicide? Does that sound like a suicide if I could shoot myself 3 times in the back of the head?
Not at all.
All these people there, like I felt like the Nation of Islam, and I remember talking to Professor Plum about this. Yeah. They were the only ones that got it right. They got it right. And what I mean is to rehab yourself as a person and your community, because no one's out here to help you. No one's out here to help you. I fell for the okie doke. I voted for Obama twice. That was my first time voting. I thought he was going to change things. My condition didn't change. Yeah. I didn't vote in this previous election. I'm actually a registered libertarian. I'm a third party person. I just voted for my guys. And I really thought that, I think we're meant to do great things as a people, but we're too easily manipulated. And cancel culture is that tool that we use. You know, whether it's sports, with Colin Kaepernick and LeBron, whether it's music, we don't know who to pick. You know, it makes me sad, because you're not thinking, you're not using what the Lord gave you, what God gave you. You're not using this up here. You're just going along because you too are afraid of what happens if you think differently, if you question it. And no one wants to question it.
Yeah.
No one wants to question cancel culture. You're just canceled. Okay, why? Just ask somebody, why are they canceled? You would sit there, Like when I asked, why are you trying to cancel me? And I find out it was my ex who was trying to do that in the middle of the election because all I said was, I may not like Trump, but my dad runs a small business and he was able to hire more people because of the financial and economic policies that Trump made.
Yeah.
When Biden came in, he slashed that. So my dad had to lay a lot of people off. My dad didn't want to do that. You know, my dad, he's old school. You know, if you need a job, he'll give it to you. He's that, you don't need to apply. Just be a decent human being. Yeah. And my dad, tons of people jobs. And he cries when he has to let somebody go. Because usually when he lets someone go, it's not about job performance. Yeah. It's because he can't afford you. And I saw the pain in my father's eyes when, because of those budget cuts, because of those things that Biden slashed, he had to let those people go. You know, I think we laid off about 10, 20 people.
Damn. You know,
yeah. It's just my dad and my mom now. Everything's virtual.
And that's not the first time I heard that. The like financial plans of the Biden administration are just completely outwardly focused, completely 1% focused. And he's not shy about it. He's not shy about it at all. And but I don't understand why people don't connect the dots. And this is not saying that Trump was better or whatever, but just that Trump administration at that time, realistically, it did more for the working class person than this administration. And that's because of just the politics at that moment. Not saying that Trump is a great person, not saying Biden is a bad person. None of them are good people in my perspective. But we have to be realistic about the condition that we are in. Biden specifically, going to him, that's a man that needs to be canceled, right? Even for the just colloquial sense. We just need to say it. Cancel Biden, because he literally at all, and Kamala Harris.
You're not canceling the AKA. They're gonna ski with you to death, girl. They're gonna ski with you.
They could ski wee the hell up out of it. Ski wee scoop. No disrespect to the AKAs. I love y'all, but like that, like what?
Come after you, girl.
They could come after whatever. Am I Greek? Sorry, I'm black, but like. It makes no sense. These people made specific promises to our people. We're going to do this for you. We're going to do that for you. Meanwhile, I just saw a headline, HBCUs are allowing Ukrainians to go for free. What the hell? It's like the blatant disrespect. And I don't blame them, because this is a track record. Obama did the same thing to us, because that's politics. That's America. America does not consider Black people in their any law that is written in anything. We are still 3/5 of a person. We're still written in law 3/5 of a person. That has never been taken out. I don't understand. That's still in there. You can look it up. It's still in there. What was that? It was an amendment, right?
Yep.
That amendment is still in the was it? Let me get myself, because the Constitution. That's what I thought. Yeah. So to me, when we talk about cancel culture, why can't we cancel something that's actually going to make a change for our community? Not cancel our brother or sister because we don't like their opinion. Like, opinion is very cute. Like, I had somebody comment all the time on Facebook. I had people commenting, I don't care if you disagree. I do not care. If you want to have an actual discussion about our opinions, I'm down for that. I love that. We can have an opposing opinion, and I'm down for the discussion. But for you to just tell me I'm wrong because, you know, this is the way that you think, cool, thumbs up. Like that you're not doing anything. We're all different people. We're never going to think the same. However, it's important, like you said, the Nation of Islam centers around self-improvement. It's not about this is your opinion, this is your political ideology, which is why the Nation of Islam is not a political organization. We're focused on self-improvement. We're focused on building up the person, building up the family, building up the community, building up the Black nation. And that will better the world. But people can't think beyond. And that's because of this thing right here. This thing right here is our brain right now.
Well, that's true. No, and to piggyback what you said, Atiya, I always respected what the nation did, right? So I was reading the autobiography of Malcolm X, and Malcolm said, when he got into the nation, he was so impressed by the variety of opinions, but they were all respectful. People still wanted to be better people, but at the end of the day, that's my brother, that's my sister. And they carried themselves as if they were a family. They may not have known each other well, but the fact of the matter is, and this is something that's lost on our people today, we carry ourselves as a family. You touch one, you got to touch us all. You lay a hand on one, now you got a problem with us all. We don't have that connection because you're right, of this little doohickey here. Mine's is old, about 5 years old, but it still works. I'm very cheap. But that to me was always impressive. So when I say, people get mad at me when I say the Nation of Islam is the greatest Reformation agency of Black people, I truly believe that. I've seen guys who are ex-cons. We're talking about hardened freaking criminals here.
Yeah.
They go to one I don't know if it's called a service in the mosque or
it's a mosque meeting.
Mosque meeting.
Yeah.
They go to one mosque meeting and then they go to another. And then you start to see them, they get cleaned up a little bit. The clothes start to fit a little better. They start to stand up a little straight. They start to talk a little bit more formal. They start to be a lot more presentable. And then you get someone who's a benefit of society. They're taking steps. Now, what I don't like of this new generation is no one's willing to take those steps because it goes back to what I said previously. You're afraid. You're scared. You know, for example, I said, you know, a marriage is between a man and a woman. I grew up as a Christian. And that's my opinion because I'm going by it's a marriage between a man and a woman. And you're supposed to love, protect, and provide for your woman. It says that in the book. It even says that in the Quran. My dad had a copy of the Quran when he was studying for seminary school. So if it says that, right, and that's the faith that we as people believe in, you ain't got to cancel somebody for their faith.
Absolutely.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You got people canceling. You know, when I got shadow banned, I didn't realize it until someone was like, yo, are you still on IG? And I'm like, yeah, my IG's active. And I realized I couldn't post anything for a week.
You couldn't, they didn't let you post?
Post, comment, nothing. I could view, that's fine. But it's like you have this wall, right? And you can't get through the wall. It's like trying to walk through a brick wall. It's not possible. And the fact of the matter is, you know, especially with these tech companies, they banned the president of the United States. Think about that. They banned Trump. So if they're that powerful to do that, Trump's not the man Trump's not the guy in power. These huge companies, they're the ones in power. And they want a certain angle and a certain agenda that fits their narrative. I'm hearing now, because I got friends out in Cali, that they want kids to don't let the parents know it's something if they're want to feel up on older people.
What?
California. I read it somewhere. It's in the Epoch Times. It's a libertarian paper, and they were talking about it, and yet this has gained no traction. This has gained no traction whatsoever. But it's in California. Bill? They're trying to pass a bill. I'm like,
okay, I think I might have seen a headline.
The parents don't know about it. They don't have to tell the parents that they want to, you know, play around with older people, which is disgusting. What the hell is wrong with you people? And there are people who are outwardly against it, and they're getting canceled. Like you're drumming up things about their past, and that's what I noticed. The way to kill cancel culture, right, is to keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's literally keep doing what you're doing.
Look at Reza Islam. Look at Kyrie Irving. He literally killed cancel culture by law.
These people are sick. Yo, it's here. If you go on Twitter, these people, especially white people, they're foaming at the mouth, sick.
That he gets to do his job.
And he was still getting paid. He was still getting paid. So he's essentially playing half the season because you got 41 home games, 41 away games. He's essentially playing every away game.
Yo.
Now He beat the system. And that's a very big thing with cancel culture. You can't don't apologize. I hate it when people apologize.
Yeah.
No, you apologize, it never ends. Mm-hmm. They're gonna want more and more and more until there's nothing left of whatever your career was or anything. Kyrie held his ground, and Stephen A. Smith, he got a little, coon tendencies, a little bit of a coon, But he came at him crazy every day. I would watch ESPN on my way to work. Every day, this man came at them. You're disloyal, take the vaccine, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, you got people saying now that's just going to be just like the flu. And that's what Kyrie said. It might be just like the flu. Oh, I got COVID. Okay, just stay home. Mm-hmm. Oh, I got the flu. Okay, just stay home.
You know what? With Kyrie Irving is interesting because he's not the only athlete that did not take the vaccine. He's not the only athlete that had to sit out because they didn't take the vaccine. There's California and there's New York that had these strict laws. But he's a black man and a prominent black man. And I have to point that out because there are several white men who, the ideology is that if you support Trump, you don't want to take the vaccine, whatever. That line of thinking that they created, that's not real. But there are several white men who are athletes or who are famous who did not take the vaccine, but they're not attacked because Kyrie Irving is a prominent black man who has effect on the culture. Going back to the Urakami thing, when a prominent black man who has an effect on the culture and can get other, especially black men, to stand up and to do what they want rather than what they're told to do, that shifts the culture. And that's exactly what Kyrie Irving did and is still doing. And that's why he was attacked. That's why they had to get Stephen A. Smith to attack him, because this is an older black man telling this little boy what to do. And that little boy should listen, it's all imaging. It's all politics. I don't think Stephen A. Smith he might have had his opinions, but I don't think he came that hard at him just because he wanted to. All of these people on TV are told to say what they say, unless what's her name? Whoopi Goldberg, unless they say something and get attacked. She wasn't told to say that.
Yeah. But see, here's the thing with Stephen A. Smith and black men in sports, right? And this is something that I've always liked about Shaq. Shaq and Michael Jordan are the two sports figures I can remember. They'll tell you how they feel, and they're not going to give you an opportunity to rebuttal. You're just going to sit there and they go about their business. Yeah, that's just how they operate. You're going to sit there, you're going to shut up, take it, and that's it. And the thing is, Stephen A. Smith, when I say black men and women don't get the benefit of the doubt, and this is why cancel culture is so dangerous that's why as a black person, I say you are a fool if you are participating in cancel culture. You are a grade A, USDA approved grade A idiot. I'm gonna say that again. You are a USDA approved grade A idiot. Because cancel culture, because people are so unstable in these times now, you don't know what people are capable of. You're costing people their jobs, their livelihoods. For example, Deshaun Watson, right?
Who's that?
He's a quarterback now for the Browns. He had a sexual assault case with 22 or 32 women. And he went to court, had the evidence to prove that actually all of these masseuses on he had text messages, and this is why I say update your cloud settings. Yep. He had all the information. Now, obviously, this is going to go to civil court, but has criminal charges. They're done. He's not a crime. Molly Qerim, and Sarah Span, and I can feel anti-black rhetoric, right? You can tell when someone just wants to say something that they really feel, but they're on TV, so they gotta tone it down. Came after this man saying that the court was wrong, blah blah blah. But you didn't have this energy for Chad Wheeler, who beat the tar out of his black girlfriend within an inch of her life and was in a tube. She got beat within an inch of her life on a tube, and she was in a tube. Thank God she survived. But I went out and tried to cancel that man, but he went through the court of law. And this is my problem with people. I don't like everything in the world, right? Yeah. there's a reason why we have systems in place, because if we didn't, we'd be no different than the animals walking the street. That's what separates us from the cats and the dogs and the wolves and the lions to being a human being. You think, you process information.
Yep, we have a will.
We have a will. An animal has to do what it needs to do to survive. We're different. That's why we could build houses and bridges and buildings and planes and tanks and guns. Animals can't do that. Cancel culture is so dangerous because you're taking away a part of a person that, but just because you didn't like it, now nobody can see it.
Yo.
Nobody.
Facts.
Don't get me preaching now, Tia.
We
got things to do, but don't get me preaching now.
But you know what, too? This cancel culture thing takes advantage of where we are right now because of COVID. 2020 through now, like, cancel culture is not even real. Like, when you can speak to the same people who posted, cancel this, you speak to them in person, they don't even really have an opinion on it, on the fact. You can speak to them and oh yeah, you're right, oh, I can see that. Like, cancel culture is fake. That's the biggest thing. It's all through the phone, it's all through internet media, and it makes us angry for the moment, and then guess what, we always forget about it because cancel culture is not a real issue. How are you going to cancel a person? Like, what
are they, a computer program? Do you
exactly? And this is not it's not a president, it's not a somebody who actually has power. It's just this person. I'm gonna cancel you, Einstein, because you had that painting behind you. I'm gonna cancel you. Okay. All right. Maybe I'm gonna make 100 sales instead of 200 if I have a product today, but in 2 months I bet you my sales will be back up. It's annoying, and it takes the intelligence out of human beings, especially young people, because I'm still connected with a lot of previous high schoolers that I used to teach.
Oh, you're still teaching?
No, I'm not teaching in schools right now, but I'm still connected with my old students. But it like pushes and pulls you and has you thinking that this is right, this is toxic, this is homophobic, this is that, this is all of this. And meanwhile, like you said, people have beliefs. Like, you can't take away somebody's beliefs. If they disrespect you in their belief, that is where you need to take action, not cancel them. You need to take action, because that is an issue. I can have all the beliefs that I want. There's a lot I don't agree with you with. There's a lot I don't agree with a lot of friends, my sisters, my mother. I don't agree with a lot of the things that they believe in. However, I respect them, and that's the importance.
But that's lost, Atiya, because like you said, that emotional aspect, when you're emotional, you're not thinking logically. You'll do the craziest thing. No one thinks correctly when they're angry. I'm gonna say that. Speaking from experience, I made a ton of terrible decisions.
I know.
You know what I mean? So I definitely understand. And I've always told, I do Muay Thai, MMA, things like that. And the thing that we learn is when you're fighting someone and you're feeling the pressure of your opponent, and like they're coming to you, they're throwing, they're trying to get you down on the ground, you have to be calm and just stay still. Meaning your mind needs to be still before you can process what your next move is. Because what's gonna happen is you'll just do whatever just to get that person off you. And a lot of times with cancel culture, we just do whatever to let it stop.
Yeah.
But we try to, but like, for example, Michael Jackson, right? Michael was known as a recluse. And like a lot of people, unless you were me, and we knew this, right? And in 1994, 95, he makes a comment about children. He said, children are just precious, they could be whatever they want to be. They take that line, place it with the fact that he's a recluse, call him a child molester. And we as Black people actually ate that up.
Yep.
And even though he knew he was innocent, he even said it, he was innocent.
Yeah.
He still paid it. So it made it even look like, even though he was innocent, it made Mike look like he was guilty, even though he wasn't. He just wanted the madness to stop. So cancel culture has been around for centuries, if we're being honest.
Yep.
especially directed towards black men and women. Have you seen how? Remember Billie Holiday? They called her a communist. She died broken, penniless.
Yep.
People forget
I didn't even know that about her until that movie came out.
Yeah, and she was such an amazing jazz singer. She really changed how we view music, and she's now getting her respect. But it doesn't change the fact that when she was alive, this country, this government, and the people that partake in the foolishness treated her like dirt. And she paid the price for that, and she did not have to. And there was no black person to back her. There was nobody, man or woman or organization, that was strong enough to back her at that time. Obviously, our nation started to form in the 50s and 60s, and she died early in the 50s, right? So she didn't have that. She didn't have the Black Panther. She didn't have SNCC. She didn't have the SCLC. She didn't have those people to protect her. And that's what makes her story more tragic. We lost her prime years because someone didn't agree with how she felt about Black people. That's what happens. That's why I have a problem with cancel culture. You're so emotionally invested in it for 5 seconds that you don't know the lifetime of damage that it does. You don't realize that. So that's why I got issues with people on ESPN like Sarah Span and a lot of these women. I'm not a sexist, but a lot of these white female sports reporters, when it comes to Black men, they go a little harder. You know, I could kind of see the anti-Blackness, even though they want to be all, you know, neutral about it, but I could see the little anti-Blackness. And the sad part is there are going to be Black people that are going to back that. And that's why I weep for our community. Like, you don't see what's in front of you. You don't see how you're getting played. What's the end goal? It's sad. And it makes me mad when I figure out how easy it is to get these young kids into it. Like, that's why I told my girlfriend, if we ever have a kid, Lord willing, he or she not getting a cell phone until your senior year of high school. Because you stuck on stupid like the rest of your little friends. You're not gonna be stuck on stupid. I refuse that. Because I don't know if you've seen the movie Alien. Have you seen the movie Alien with the xenomorph? It's like a big long creature with a long head and it got like the 2 mouths that come out. Watch it.
No.
Terrifying.
It's a new movie?
It's an old movie. You know, I'm a sucker for oldies.
Yeah.
And they have this thing called the face hugger. And it's like a baby xenomorph, and it explodes out of a person, so it hatches in the person's stomach.
Oh, you saw the Alien, Alien versus Predator, that one. Yeah.
And it explodes out and grabs the face, and then it plants another egg inside a person, so it could keep reproducing, right? And that's what your phone is. Your phone is a face hugger.
Ooh.
Like, your phone's a face hugger. It's just here all the time. I have a routine.
I like that. Go ahead.
I have a routine that I like to do, right? So I get up at 4 a.m. every day. Now people say, why do you do that? I pray, I meditate, I read my Bible. Then I do like a nice little 30-minute workout routine, jump rope, and I run. So right now it'd be like 5:25, 5:30. Then I stretch, I eat breakfast, I plan my day. I want to be the most productive I've been. Oh, maybe me and my girlfriend want to go do something. So let me plan that out so that way I can spend that time with her, you know? But you can't do all that if you're on this all the time. This is ridiculous. And it causes a lot of problems that don't need to be caused. If you look at, a person like Meg Thee Stallion, my girlfriend said it. She was already messing around with Tory Lanez, but she didn't want to say that out loud, but it comes out that it was true that she was messing with Tory Lanez, and because she had a angle, that's what I'm going to call it now, an angle to play at. Everybody turned on Tory, but Tory was telling the truth the entire time, and they canceled Tory for it to the point where he got dropped from his label. He had to go independent. He has to pretty much back himself on every album because you don't have the backing of the major labels anymore. And she walks away from this scot-free, even though technically this was her own thing. That's why I say cancel culture is dangerous. Y'all don't see the repercussions, because if you're the one doing the canceling, you don't see the repercussions it has. It always works until it's you. That's what I tell people. Everyone's cancelable. I'm cancelable. You're cancelable. Everyone. The thing is, what is my granddad? My granddad used to say this. I know somebody in my family used to say, the best thing about living now is holding your own nuts and holding firm, staying strong. Because these people, their lives are miserable. They got nothing to do. They're on their phones all day. They're letting life pass them by. Don't be that person. Don't be that person. Hopefully I didn't rant too much. But.
No. Something that I'm hearing with what you said is like there's a lack of knowledge. People and a lack of humanness when it comes to this cancel culture. Number one, people are gonna make mistakes. Yeah. That's life. People continue after they make mistakes. Like imagine my daughter, when she gets older, she's a teenager, you know, she does something really stupid. She gets in trouble, she crashes the car while drinking. You know, God forbid, she's not gonna do that. But I cancel her. That's my response to her, is to cancel her. Like there's a lack of humanness, there's a lack of reality when we try to do something like that. And with what you said about Billie Holiday, it made me think of how we regard Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X today. Yeah. America celebrates these people, you know, they get days. We like them now. These brothers were killed by the American government, by conspiracies of the American government. And we see that, watch the Malcolm X Netflix documentary, Martin Luther King. I'll find something that you can watch, but there are actual documents about the US government following him and watching him and creating the conspiracy around the events that led up to his assassination.
Even the FBI was watching Malcolm for months before his death.
Absolutely.
And said that the bullet that shot him, those two guys weren't the guys, allegedly they weren't the guys that pulled the trigger, because they found out a pistol and a shotgun bullet are not the same thing. Nope. They found out that was actually a rifle. So people saw little holes. You know how the ballroom, back in the day, you know, the ballroom, the Audubon ballroom had like a glass roof.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, it had a glass roof. So you had to have been a very good sniper to catch Malcolm, you know? And even Malcolm knew that he felt uneasy. You know, like it said in the Bible, like Jesus knew the time of his passing. Yeah. And that's why he was so calm. He was so calm up there before he passed. Yep. Peace, brother. And then those are his last words as he was bleeding out. And even with Dr. King knew that you can't be peaceful with these people. The only way you're gonna win, the only way you're gonna beat them is with money. No matter how much marching you do, you need to beat them with money. You can't play this kumbaya stuff. That's why I get upset when we talk about equality. Technically, we're being honest with ourselves. No one is ever going to be equal. I'm tall, you're short. I mean, I'm not coming at you for being short. Oh, I live in Jersey City. You probably live in Hoboken or West North. I don't know. We're different, and that's okay. What you want is equity. You want fairness in every situation. They be lying to these kids like, I want everything to be equal. No, you don't. Because my parents, when they left Haiti, they were under communism. You didn't own a house. The state did. You didn't own the land that you sat on. The state did. The car that you bought, yeah, that's your money. But you do anything wrong, it belongs to the state. So when my parents came here and capitalism opened up a lot of things. When my dad bought a car here, he was like, this is my car? He told the dealer, this is my car? He's like, yeah. It's yours. You could do whatever you want with it. You don't understand how good you have it. Yes, America has its problems, and I'm always going to be a critic of those problems. But compared to how my parents had to come up here, I feel like this generation, not our generation, because I think we have an understanding, because we're a lot more open now, but the generation behind us, the Zoomers, is that what they're called? The Zoomers?
No, the Generation Z.
So we're millennials.
We're millennials. They're Z. Generation Z. Yeah. You mix them with the boomers. He said the Zoomers.
The Zoomers. This is so hard to keep up with these new generation things and whatnot. But they're the type to be, you know, say everything got to be fair. Life isn't fair. Sometimes you might be 18 and pass away. or you live to be 100.
Yeah.
That's just the way the world works. And the problem is, there's an uncomfortable truth that the older you get, the more you realize life isn't fair. And it's about what you put out of it. You're a photographer, Atiya, right?
Yeah.
You want to be the best damn photographer on the planet. So you're going to sit there, you're going to take as many pictures as you can, get the frame right, the angles, the lighting, the texture, whatever it is you got to do, you'll do it. Because that's what keeps you alive. That's what puts the fire in your belly. You got a beautiful daughter and journey. You look at it, you see yourself. You have a legacy. And the problem is the Gen Zs, they don't want a legacy. Y'all not fighting. We're fighting for a legacy. I want to make sure if I have a boy or a girl, son, daughter, a cat, my legacy. My legacy.
But it takes for, especially for Gen Z, they're young. Like, they're still young and they're growing. And we had our young phase too. And something, especially now, I'm realizing with my daughter, is when we're young, we're so me focused. Me, mine. What do I have to do? I want to have fun. I want to do this. I'm cute. And you imagine amplifying that with having Instagram on 10,000 your whole life, because we were introduced to Instagram when we were in college. Like, we got to, we posted pictures of our coffee, and that was what we would do on it. And then it grew into now Instagram, you have to have a curated feed. You have to have this. There's an algorithm, and that algorithm is a formula to make you think a certain way, because that's what an algorithm is. But so Gen Z, they're going through their own struggles, but they're also in that me phase right now too. So I wouldn't cancel them out yet, or I wouldn't say that they don't want a legacy. I think they're figuring it out. And it's funny because I feel like generations now are more separated because of technology. Technology moves so fast that we don't even understand people 5 years younger than us. We don't. I'm like, what are you talking about? Yeah, like we don't get it. Yeah, like I'm on TikTok. I'm trying to be cool on TikTok, and I'm like, but you just like put one finger up and that's the cool thing to do? Nah, I can't. Nah, I'm just gonna continue posting videos of my daughter.
I just sit there and I'm just like, I got 3 nephews, they're amazing. And then there's like Uncle Einstein, you need to get a TikTok. I'm like, the hell's a TikTok? I'm like, wow, I'm really becoming my parents, because I don't know what's going on now. Everything's going so fast. I don't know, no new rappers. If it ain't Jay-Z or Kendrick or Cole, I don't care. I don't know any of the new people in Hollywood. I'm like, oh, is Denzel making a movie? Yeah, I'll watch that. Literally, like, it just feels like maybe because we knew what life was like before the internet grew up. You know what I mean? Yeah. Kind of had to understand it. So that's why, me personally, I feel as though I've had such a disconnect. And especially I try to relate to my younger coworkers. But I can't do this. I'm gonna just go read a book somewhere. Oh, y'all different. All too different from me. They talk about what's the thing that they're doing? They do these stupid challenges that could get them killed. Like they do the blackout challenge, and then there's the cinnamon, the 2 gallon challenge where you got to drink 2 gallons of water.
What?
At the same time.
What the hell? People know you can drown yourself, right?
That's what happened to,
I guess they don't.
A little black boy in Louisiana. He was man. And he did it and he died. Yeah, you can drown yourself. Something I forgot, when you drink way too much all at once. And I didn't even. I told my sister, you do any of that? I'm gonna make sure you live to regret it. You're not doing that. But in terms of cancel culture, they're the ones that actually push it the most. And we really be honest with ourselves. Like, I don't care if you're racist. I tell people this all the time. Black people got to stop. Let me say this. Black liberals need to stop assuming that we're all liberal. I'm not a liberal. I'm not a conservative. I'm actually right down the middle. I'm right down the middle. There's certain things I'm very conservative on, but there's some things I'm a little bit liberal on. But that doesn't mean I do not care for Black people. It's just that I have a certain way that maybe we can come together. there's your side, there's my side, and then there's the truth, which is always right down the middle. And the problem is, a lot of our Black elites, since they lean a little to the left, we always assume that we got to vote. For example, I voted for my mayor, right? So we had the Jersey mayor election 2 months ago at Philip Point. So I did a write-in ballot because I was doing it at a different district in Jersey City. Not my district where I usually go, but because I was coming home from work, I drove over. I get in there, and they're like, how do I look for my political party? They're like, are you a Democrat or a Republican? I was like, I'm neither.
What's up, everyone? I'm back. I really hope you enjoyed that episode. That was just part 1. Don't forget, I have other parts. Check them out on Spotify, YouTube, wherever you're listening. Before you click out, do not forget to like, subscribe, and share this podcast episode. Peace.